Alright, here I am. Okay. Sorry about the bad lighting yet again, but what can you really do? Okay. It's time to get down to brass tacks. I'm sending myself, that's why I'm all greasy. Anyway. Turn this way. You can't really get a good look at my face, can you? Oh, alright, well, we'll just do the best we can. Sorry about the bad camera angles. I'm laying down. Just be glad I'm wearing a shirt. Alright, point is, this is the era of Me Too, you know. God, everyone is such a freaking snowflake. It's ridiculous. Okay, let me tell you something. When I was young, when I was 6 years old, I needed glasses. Alright? So I went in kindergarten, which, oh, by the way, Kid Logic could have solved this for the next 2 years easily by just having me move forward, because I was the second to last line in in kindergarten. You know, they had us in these different lines from the board. I was second from the last. So when the teacher said, please read this, I would jump up and run towards the board in order to see it, because they don't use thick lines, they use thin lines because they were using chalk and, well, marker. So I couldn't really see the lines because they were rather quite blurry. So I'd run up and I would try to read it, and they said, no, from back there. I said, I can't read it from back there, it's a bit too blurry. I want to make sure I get it right. So they said, oh, he needs glasses. And I'm like, no, just move me closer. Problem solved. But then, you know, they said, well, we need to go get glasses. So I went, and they said, yeah, you're going to need glasses. And they said, okay, Greg, this is where, and they had all these racks, you know, all these glasses. And I'm like, okay, Greg, which one do you want? And then the closest one to me, I said, well, anything from this rack right here will be fine. They said, my mom turns to me and says, Greg, those are old ladies' glasses. And I'm like, the 1980s had just ended. So the era of, like, zany glasses is, like, coming to an end. And excuse me. So, and I thought, well, okay, fine. So we'll not go for zany. We'll go with classical then. So we spent the next, like, 30 minutes going through the remaining 2 racks of adult and kid glasses. And I'm just there like, this is just so ordinary and boring, and it's like, there's nothing unique about these. So we finally settled on a pair of glasses, and I said, fine. Okay, let's stop there real quick. Let's jump to about nowish. Now, I looked at a picture of me when I was that age, at age 7, 8. I looked at it, and I had the geekiest glasses ever. And I kept wondering to myself, why am I constantly being picked on? It's because of these stupid nerd glasses that we had gotten for me. And it's like, oh Christ. You know, and people are saying, you know, or like surprised. You know, like, oh, like, really? Like, this is happening? This is a thing? I don't know. It's like, yes, bullying is a thing. Bullying has happened as I got older into school, particularly into elementary, that people don't like people a lot. They don't respect their feelings at all, because, you know, no one tells them, you know, respect other people. Who's the fuck gonna tell them that? Their parents? You know, my parents raised me right. They told me how to respect people. Hell, I didn't know about racism till 96. Yeah. And the Holocaust in college. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Hey, kids, let's go and read. Today we're going to read you know, what's her name? The girl, not Helen Keller, but the other one, Anna something, you know. all the stuff about the Holocaust, and let's watch Schindler's List. Then that's fun. But growing up, was not easy. As time went on, it's like people were just getting meaner and viciouser about everything. And you weren't allowed to defend yourself because you gotta get that diploma, so you can't fight and everything. And then that thing just totally serves me well now in my crappy job. So look, the point is I'm getting at here is that everyone is talking about how such a snowflake everyone is. Everyone's feelings are so important, and I'm thinking, well, gee, what about my feelings? Heaven forbid anyone bother to care about how I feel. And it's like, well, where's the crowd rallying upon me? Where's the epic stuff? Because all this stuff in the media with Roseanne and editing out, not David Spade, Kevin Spacey, that one-armed headed giant thing from Gravity Falls. People will jump on this job to erase all the badness in the world, and all this stuff stuff's happening lately, and I'm thinking to myself, well, where's all the fanfare and the we're behind you people for the people who are victimized by bullies, that other demographic? Where's that? So that's what gets me to this other rant, because there's so much to say in so little time, is that this is the era of Me Too and, snowflakiness. And it gets me thinking, because I'm at work and all I can really do is think, because I can't talk to anybody. Because heaven forbid anyone uses, 2 neurons. But that's just one more than they're capable of. Trust me, that's an entire rant in and of itself. Now, so the one thing I noticed off of everything else is the era of girl power, which I covered in a previous video. But this is one of the things I wanted to clarify from another previous video I did with Ken, was that, which was the right around the Strange Magic one. Okay, girl power has been around since the early 90s. I can't exactly. Well, girls had sidekick level of powers in the 80s. Yes, they weren't all damsels. They were basically sidekicks, and there were exceptions like She-Ra, and I love She-Ra, that, like I said, I love strong, independent girls. I have nothing against them. Be more strong, be more independent, sure. And, and then girls got the more titular roles in the 90s, and they got the girl power and everything, became more central characters. But now, in the era of the 2000s and the 20 teens and all that, is that suddenly I saw, like I mentioned in the other review, that there's this cookie cutter, this cookie cutter type of independent girl, and it's just one after the other, 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 and it's like that's all there is. It's like every strong feminine role model, and they use this word role model that everyone wants, is the exact same, which is they have 3 aspects to their personality. Just 3. And I'm a fan of a few of them as well. Hell, I like Ladybug, but she's part of this trend that just keeps on continuing, and it gets so annoying. Okay, here's why. Here are the three things. One, they are strong, independent girls. Okay. But then they also have all A cups and have a fantastic ass. That's it. And then nothing else beyond those concepts. It's like, yeah, one's mental, okay. And then the other two is like, the other two are physical, and then that's it. There's no variety. So it's like, okay, and who does this strong girl look like? And then it's just the exact same body type. Okay. Okay, who's this next girl? Okay, strong independent girl, and she has the exact same body type. I'm like scratching my head, like, okay, I don't want all of them to have the exact same body type. Granted, I'm a fan of boobs. Okay, fine, I'll say that. I'm a fan of attractive girl. Problem is, I'm not a fan of not consistency, but a fan of cookie cutter, repeatedly the same type. It just gets boring after a while because you just have the same type. And it's like, well, then they're physically all the same. Then it's like they're mentally all the same and then physically all the same. So then what's new? It's like, it's the setting. It's, um, it's 12th century Ireland. It's 2015, 2014, Paris. It's, whatever setting it is. Like, well, that's just the setting and the story. What's the character type? And they're all the same character types, and it is boring. But everyone keeps referring to things as snowflakes, and everyone's unique. And then it's like, well, if they're so unique, then why do they all have the same body type? Why is this body type allowed amongst all others? It's like we can't have someone with a C cup, let's say, but they have to have a fantastic ass. People are going to look back on this and they're going to say, hey, grandpa or elder or whatever, why is during this 20-year period, 20-year period, you know, full of nothing but really great asses? They said, well, that's because what people were allowed to accentuate was the ass. Because, see, in the 20 years prior, top-heavy girls were allowed. And then over here, they weren't allowed. So people said, well, we could give them great asses, and all the girls said, sure, we'll accept that. So then, for the next 20 years, we have all these great asses. It's like, and people are going to comment on that in that trend because it's a blatantly obvious trend. And trends are okay, fine, sure. You have a trend for a while, but then trends change. This hasn't really changed in over like 10 years plus. And it's like, can we get some variety here? Can we get someone new? And well, people were like, there was a video game called Overwatch, and they were saying, oh, Overwatch, the people that made it, not a fan or anything, the people that made it said, okay, we're gonna get this picture of this Australian chick with the teleportation abilities, and we're gonna have the over the shoulder looking back shot, a really great ass shot, because she's not top heavy, she's not. So yeah, we're gonna have this really great ass shot. It looks a little sexy. It's gonna be awesome. They put that up. And then people are like, oh no, you shouldn't have her be sexy because that's not her character. Oh, for Christ. It's not even anything for the story. It's a publicity pick. And people are saying, it's not her. You're not being true to the character, man. So they had to take it down. And it's like, well, wait a minute. So this character couldn't be sexy for 5 seconds of her career, even though she's a fictional character? So people get, so, critical over everything. You can't have a hero be sexy. You can't have, if she's not shown sexuality before, but you can't show her now. It's like, well, it's not like she's wearing a different costume or proportions, guys. It's an over-the-shoulder shot, for crying out loud. But everyone wants to have this thing, and it's just like, ugh. It's just ugh. I guess what I'm just tired of is everyone else keep acting like their emotions matter, and how these cookie cutter strong independent women are, and everyone keeps saying that's acceptable, and then people keep saying everything else is more acceptable. Stupidity is acceptable. You can be stupid and that's okay. It's like, no, stupidity is not okay. Starting off stupid is fine, because that's where everyone starts off. Everyone starts off stupid. But you have to learn to be more. And then to just not even try is still considered okay. And it's not. It's just not. Because when I ask my coworkers a simple question, it's like the president when he was told that 9/11 was happening. It's like, okay, they tell him it's happening, and then he forgets where he is. And it's like, I couldn't even begin to try to figure out anything. And that just pisses me off to no end, because that's how I used to be before I learned that learning is good for you. There are things to learn that help you to be a better person. There are things to learn to help you to survive. So when I see these people stand there and just give this blank look like, and then I forget where I am in the world. I don't know anything. And it's like, fucking hell, please. It's like, just try. Just try. No one cares about my feelings at all. Even as an adult. Very few people do, if at all. Just expect me to show up and do my thing, and that's it. Why should they listen to me? Oh, well, I don't know, maybe because I've been there longer than any of them. But but and of course there's been bad exceptions to the rules. Here's one prime example. Lois Lane. No, you're not gonna. No, I know what you're thinking. I know. Just settle down. Let me explain this. What's Lois Lane's strongest trait? A strong, independent woman. So she goes on the story, no matter what. She goes and walks into whatever, abandoned hangar or whatever to get the story. And then she walks right into a trap, or is, not kidnapped, but like found out and tied down to a conveyor belt and or whatever have you, to whatever trap is the nefarious scheme is going to kill her in a short time. And she proclaims herself this strong, independent woman, and then when she walks into these traps, these dangerous situations with her eyes wide open, and then she says, "Help me, Superman, help me." And it's like, well, Lois, you walked yourself into this, and then you're asking him to get your butt out of the fire. That's not the sign of a strong, independent woman. That's a sign of a woman who's dependent on a man to save her ass almost every time. And that's why I was never a really big fan of Lois. It's because she kept saying, well, I'm the strong, independent woman. I'm clearly the strong, independent woman. And it's like, yes, But you should have the good common sense to say, you know what? Why don't I just not do that and just save myself the trouble of like not getting captured, you know? But she doesn't. She just walks in there and says, "Oh, darn, I totally got myself caught. Darn. Oh, wait, you're about to kill me. Superman, Superman, help me." And he shows up, and, you know. So she's not the best, you know, showcase for strong, independent woman, you know. And there have been times where she was able to help out Superman and possibly get herself out of situations. Again, I don't know all of them, but every time I see her, it's she couldn't do jack for herself. And yes, I've seen the George Reeves series, not the Kirk Allen series, which I came very close to getting, by the way. That close. So again, I have nothing against women being strong and independent. Disney is starting to really, you know, get their, you know, that a girl is not 100% dependent on the guy, but the story is not 100% dependent on having to have a guy in the story, which I'm now starting to get. But the one thing I just do not like is how everyone is able to just, you know, jump to, you know, and come to the defense of everyone else's snowflakiness. And then it's like, well, gee, well, where's my defenders? You know, where are my peeps? You know, it's just, how about the bullying issue, guys? Does that come to a head? I know you're putting out those phone numbers and awareness banners and propaganda and promos for it, but what's become of that? You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling jaded. I don't know if I'll keep this up here or not, but just remember, you know, times change, and this is what the times are now. I don't know what the future holds for us. What I do know is right now, everyone feels like a snowflake. And I haven't felt cared for since my early teens, really. 'Cause that's when people stopped trying to give me good days, you know, and then people kept saying, well, you gotta maintain your own happiness, Greg. I'm not gonna do it for you. You know, and it's like, well, yes, I get that. But then it's like, it's just like, everyone just doesn't wants to care on their own timetable than anything else. It's like, when it's convenient for me, when I feel like it to care, then I'll care. And it's like, really, caring is a scheduling issue now. And that's what it was like. It's like, well, I don't feel like caring today, so I'm not gonna care. And I'm just standing there. It's like, okay, don't you want to get out of the house? No, because I don't feel like it. Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling left out or something. I'm not 100% sure, but everyone's just feeling, you know, too snowflakey-ish. You know, and they're removing Roseanne's. Roseanne's not even gonna get apparently a rerun. They're just gonna replace it with the middle. And people are, and the companies are dropping her show from their services, like Hulu and all that. It's like, really, you're just gonna just do all that just right now, drop of this hat, because she was offensive to some people. Really? Wow, a bad tweet from an expressive person who has insulted people before. You know what you're getting yourself into, world. And yet, you still brought her back for one more season. She did something offensive, and then you're like jumping at it, you know. And you know what it reminds me of? This will be the last thing. There was an anime, I forget what it was called because they put it under false titles now because they have to. Dang it. But it was a really good series. I'll try to get it if I can because it's really good. It's about this um, government who finds a gateway to another world and they try to subjugate it by introducing anime culture or otaku culture to its lesser citizens. Talking about a sneaky plan. Um, but anyway, there was a princess who they were making a film because of stuff. It's a big story, but they were making this film, and then she saw how bad she was in this film, and then demanded, through a shit fit, demanded it be stopped, demanded it be stricken from the record, you know, erase all record of it, and you know, it turns to this, and it's like that reminds me of what everyone keeps doing. Whenever something bad happens, you just gotta erase it from existence because no one wants to have a part of this because well, I'm not affiliated with. It's like, dude, people have been hurting people's feelings for ever, you know, and then you're just gonna just wipe it from existence because you don't want to be associated with that. Wow, that just shows a lot of not. It's not strength. It's not strong character to weather through, you know, badness. You know, you have to deal with it. It's called dealing with the fallout from that. You know, and instead it feels just more like cowardice than anything else. And we're dealing with all this world of snowflakes, and then everyone just keeps overacting because they don't want to insult the snowflakes. I haven't been, you know, respected in forever. The only person that cared that the fact of my well-being is this one chef because I was about to stick my hand in an oven to clean it, and she had just turned it on. And she said, "But won't that hurt you?" And I said, "Probably." She's the only real person that ever actually showed concern for my well-being. No one else has. Everyone just expects me to show up and just do my job. You know? And I thank her for that. I guess we should just stop overreacting to everything. We really shouldn't be surprised that school shootings happen. You know, I was shocked and appalled when Columbine had it because I was in high school and everyone was afraid. Quite frankly, I wasn't because if I knew it would, if it happened, it would have happened already. So it's like, yeah, that happened. That's tragic. But then, wouldn't you think it would happen to you? No, because then it would have happened already. I've been here for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years, and you're acting like, well, it could happen at any time, anywhere. It's like, then it would have happened already. If anyone was sad enough to do that here, they would have done it already. Stop fretting over everything, you know. Because there was an assembly, because we were doing a dance routine of Aquarius, Age of Aquarius. And it was really good. I love the song. And, you know, there were supposed to be people of, like, National Guard or something like that. And they had these prop guns. Obviously prop guns. They weren't even look like real rifles. And my teachers are like, oh, didn't anyone feel like if they could have been, you know, imposters and if they had real guns, they probably could have shot us? I'm like, no, I didn't. Granted, I was a lot more you know, conscientious, or aware or hyper aware, or whatever, during while I was watching the last Batman movie because of the shooting, because that was fresh, and those were actual crazy people, you know. And so since all those shootings, school shootings, since then, yeah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. And people keep acting like they're shocked and surprised. How could this have happened? It's like you should know the answer to that already. You know, it's either depression and all this stuff. And Bill Maher said it best when he said, "I'm just gonna lie down for this last part." He said it's because these people don't have a sex life. They're not getting any. They don't even talk to girls. And I should know from experience, like they later said in another thing, that social um, isolation, you know, whether it be intimate or not or whatever, but when you don't have someone in your life to feel, stuff with, that it's detrimental to your health, psychological health, and and so that makes sense that these people who keep shooting up the schools are doing this is because, well, yeah, they're heartbroken, you know. And when you put people and people are put in these situations, you know, of detrimentalness, they'll go to whatever lengths they feel they need to go to try and resolve it. Now, I never thought about taking a freaking Uzi to my class, but I felt like taking my fist to someone's chin a good several dozen times just to get them to shut the fuck up. Because everyone kept thinking, I'm this epic thing, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, I'm all that, and a bag of chips. And he starts talking smack about how awesome he is, and doing so to the girls, and I'm like, shut up. And, you know, and and having, the the answer to this, is that, it's the same answer we have, like why people are having, why we're such like 14th or whatever in educations, because we don't have enough teachers to spend time with people, with each individual kid, and each individual kid is not getting the proper raising, advice. No one tells them what is okay and not okay to do, how to not be an asshole. But no one thinks that, and they keep thinking, well, it's clearly, if they're not getting in trouble, then clearly they're doing something okay. No, that just means they're not doing something incredibly wrong yet. And then stuff happens, and, we're 14th in education or whatever, and people start shooting up schools, and people are starting like, how could this have happened? It's like, you should know already why this is happening. You should be shocked, but we shouldn't be surprised. I'm not. I've been through this. I've been a child. I've been a teenager. And I know what, all this pain is. So, while people keep acting like it's so surprising, it's kind of stupid. It's like, you should be surprised. You honestly shouldn't. And it's hard enough to go through your developmental years with no definition because you don't talk to anybody, because you don't know how to talk to anybody, because you don't know who you are. So there's nothing really to bounce off of. So you don't know who you are. Who am I? What do I want? Am I funny? Like the doctor, am I funny? Am I sexy? Am I right-handed, left-handed? A cheater, a liar, a nervous wreck? You know, you don't know. You don't know until you try, until you interact with the world. Then you gain definition. You know, bounce yourself off some walls and you'll see, you know, who are you? What are you made of? You know? And sometimes you can lose, you know, definition because you lose things in life, like a spouse or a friend, you know? Without something to fill that void, you lose definition. You lose how to control yourself. Then you're wondering why everything starts going wrong. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry if this is all a little sporadic, but I had a bunch of ideas I just needed to get down. I hope you learned something from this. It's just the world right now is a lot of sad and stupid. And I'm just angry at it all, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being angry at everything. There's just nothing to feel good about, you know. You gotta be your own, you know, life coach and motivator, and it's tiring. You can't do it all the time. You can't keep yourself happy with nostalgia and jokes and insight. As much insight as I can glean in these past few years has been fantastic for my development, but, you know, that's not everything that I need. I need companionship. I need friends. I need someone to love and all this stuff. You need everything, you know. I don't have it. So yeah, I feel like a snowflake sometimes too. You know, I feel fragile and unique and wanting everyone to care about my feelings. But there are times when I realize I really shouldn't overreact to things. People are going to be assholes. People are going to be insincere. And I just have to learn to deal with it. My mother kept telling me, just deal with it. Just power through. Yeah. Of course, that didn't help her in her 40s because, well, stuff started happening. I guess that's a review for another time. Perhaps that's also incredibly personal. But yeah. Adults think it's just so easy because they got it together, and it's like, no, it's difficult. It's hard. You know? There was this episode of Secret Life of Alex Mack from the 90s on Nickelodeon, back when Nickelodeon was still good. Um, there's this girl that got, you know, dumped with chemicals on her, and instead of going blind or mutated, she got superpowers, and one of the superpowers was telekinesis. And telekinesis, and she was having this bad morning because she has to lead this double life and do all this stuff and not really be a superhero, but she did do heroic things every so often. And she's in the kitchen with her mom, and her mom is this, you know, consummate professional. She's organized. She's got it all. And Alex is there just getting lectured by her, and it's like, and the mom's like, "See, I'm organized. I got my shit together." And this is this condescending, not necessarily tone, but like, you know, down, you know, talking down to her. And it's like, "I'm this professional. I got this. I don't know why you can't." And Alex is like, "You know what? Let's see how you handle this little bump in the road." And she mixes up her mother's, you know, folder full of papers. I guess she's a law person or something. I'm not entirely sure. But Alex did that. And the promo for this, by the way, was Alex. He says she's going rogue, and it shows Alex's mom tied up in the back room, and some sort of like weird orangey like Halloween filter on everything, so everything looks kind of orangey and like old and decayed. And in the front room, Alex is there with her best friend, and she's using her powers to change the channel on the old, turn knob clicker, and that was the promo for it. Turns out that was all in that shot. That scene is all in Alex's head for the moment when she decides to go rogue against the world, and decides to kind of become not necessarily evil but mischievous and saying fuck it, I'm just going rogue. I'm tired of just trying to be the good guy or good person all the time and try to do all this stuff. So the mom needing goes into like the court or whatever and starts pulling out the papers and it's like, oh wait, I don't have the right paper. It's not where I thought it would be. And her whole day was fucked. And then she comes back and saying, yeah, I had this really bad day because I wasn't prepared. And the kid, Alex, who was kind of wanting to teach the mom a lesson that, yeah, you have a bump in the road, and not everyone can, even as consummate a professional as she was, can just, roll with it and, you know, come back from that. And so, yes, the daughter did teach her a lesson and apologize for it. But it was just like, I liked it because it was just so. It was to teach the parent a lesson, granted in a bad way, but to teach the parents that it ain't easy. You talk big, but then when push comes to shove and shit happens, yeah, even the professionals can't come back from everything. You know, and yeah, that's just something that stayed with me after all these years. Because everyone wants you to be this perfect thing, you know, because they can do it. It's like, it ain't that easy, kid. It ain't that easy. Just isn't. Just isn't. But I guess that's it. I hope this trends that we're in, this snowflake era, and the era of the cookie cutter, you know, strong independent woman ends soon. So we can move on to what's next. And hopefully it'll be a lot less boring. And a lot less sensitive. And maybe a bit more intuitive, a bit more kind. And a bit more caring. And sometimes you can't erase bad things, even if you are an editor. You know, sometimes you have to just learn to live with it. So what everyone keeps fucking telling me, you know, just live with it. But then you see the rest of the world and they can't live with it. Anyway. The one thing I do know is that Ladybug Season 2 is still awesome. And I really do hope that they have a really good happy ending for the series. and I'm rather looking forward to the live action CG movie. So I just hope everything goes out really well in this show. Because I'm just like rooting for these two power couples. I just am. It's just, you know, they're just so cute together, and they really deserve each other. But the show, like, you know, not reset, but like status quo really keeps them apart. That's why a lot of the fanfics are bringing them together. Because it's like, just get together already, and show the fallout of knowing each other's identities and having to try to work with it. Then you got drama, because then you have to deal with, we're trying to date, and you know, we're trying to do all this stuff while being superheroes. Like, come on, that's gotta be awesome, and a lot of material to use there too. Like, how many times can you go on a date before it's interrupted? Anyway, gotta go. Bye.